myself really quickly. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Andreas. I'm the community leader for Stuttgart, southern Germany. We have two more community leaders actually. I have two co-leaders, Shibi and Georgette. Both of them cannot be here today, unfortunately, but they told me to say hi to you. And this is actually the first event for us this year for Stuttgart. We had a few in-person events last year, and now after a little bit of a pause, we have a few virtual ones planned now. Actually, this today, then one for next week, and one for after that. And maybe I will talk about that a little bit later in the end, so you know where to go next. And we have a few special guests today. First of all is Jinya from Mectonic, who is actually going to take over the moderation and the timekeeping, as I already said. Hi, Oliver. One more attendee, welcome. And then we have Rustem, also from Mectonic, with a very nice Mectonic shirt, as I see. Welcome. And then also we have special guests from Argentina, and I think you will just introduce yourselves or yourself, so I don't have to do that. A person from India joining. Welcome. Thanks for attending. I think without much further ado, I think we can get into it. Topic today is Jira custom fields for beginners. Looking forward very much to that myself. I'm sure I can learn something myself. If you like, Jenya, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see it.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay, it's loading. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Zhenya from Mectonic, and I'm product owner. And today we are going to talk about the custom fields and how to introduce them, how to create a first custom field. We will talk about some common mistakes and how to avoid them. And also we'll mention some limitations and some third-party apps. And today we have two experts in our call. And Hernan, could you please tell us more about your experience, about yourself?
Well, as I mentioned on the chat, I'm from Argentina, while actually I'm currently living in Italy at the moment. And I have been an administrator for about 11 to 12 years. I started, I had a very good experience to reflect over this topic on my early days, working on a big company with more than 300,000 users and a ton of projects within, and especially about custom fields as well. And nowadays, even though I do some administration stuff, I'm supposed to do the role of a CEO and not do the technical part, which is a challenge. So I kind of enjoy coming to these events and sharing and, stay in touch with all the community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Rustam?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Rustam, and I'm a product owner and a team leader here at Mectonic. The idea of that webinar actually came to us when we discovered that despite custom fields were discussed, and very well explained and followed by many people for the dozens of years already, there are still tons of topic, especially when people sometimes want to implement custom fields for the things which they actually don't need custom fields for, or vice versa. They are trying to figure out some workarounds that we could just use some simple custom field. And yeah, it's good that we connected to Hernan because of his vast experience in this area. So I hope that today we won't only show some beginning things like how to create your first custom field, but we'll also cover some really cool and maybe insightful things for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Rustam, you already mentioned that there are some cases when people don't really need the custom fields, but maybe let's start with another question. Why sometimes it's not enough to use system fields, and why people should really introduce some custom fields to their instances?
Yeah, yeah, that's basically, I think, the very good point to start. Well, Hernan, would you like to start or me?
Just go ahead and I'll add bytes
Yeah,
and
okay.
stuff. So certainly one of the things you mentioned already got me some ideas, but it's
Yeah.
not part of this question. So go on.
Right, cool. Thank you. Well, the thing is, I mean, you probably know that by default, Jira provides about 20 system fields and some predefined custom fields. There are not that many of them, like, epic names, which currently being replaced by parents, or some custom fields for a very specific products like Jira Product Discovery, or for specific charts, like, for instance, time and status. And well, typically it's not enough. One of the typical cases which we actually face during our work with our customers is when you need to add more fields with users into a ticket. So, for instance, when you are working in a bigger company where you follow the responsible, accountable, consultant informed matrix structure, RACI matrices, and you want to add informed people into the ticket. So by default, there are no field for that. And the easiest way to implement it and to keep the things transparent with your processes to know who is being informed about this ticket or another ticket is to introduce a custom field. Another, I would say, vast use case is when you need to do some extended calculations in your ticket. It's very often a case in development, especially when you are following the things like scaled agile or some advanced methodologies. So you need to, for instance, to calculate some weighted score of the issue depending on the priority, budgets, timings, and many things like that. I actually have one screenshot to show to you right now, but I'm not sure if I can just drop it to the chat. Let me check. If not, I will have to share my screen. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, apparently I cannot just share it. Yeah. I don't have permissions to share my screen yet. How can I do that? Anyone?
I think
now I can do
I
that.
should
Yeah.
stop sharing.
Yeah. Wait a second, guys. I will just show you one thing. Yeah, I hope it's visible well. So that's basically one of the cases when you need a custom fields. Yes, so you're making some development project, and this is the stage of the requirements gathering for your issue. So you introduce a number of custom fields to understand what will be the net sales growth, how it impacts your clients, what's the revenue potential, capabilities, etc. And then on top of that, you implement some automation which automatically calculate what would be this issue weight or this story weight, this feature weight, whatever, so that you could prioritize this in your scaled agile workflow properly. So that's one of the basic cases when you need to implement whatever calculations here. I would say that's most of the things we have faced with. So it's either some calculations or some additional dates or some additional people who need to be informed about the tickets.
I would say that other of the triggers, is the fact that people eventually will need to build reports about what just stuff, and that's when the Jira standard fields are not enough because everyone has their own parameters in which they need to measure progress, and it's when you usually start adding fields to, okay, we need to identify this type of task in another way that just the priority or labels. That is one of the system fields that has certain flexibility. Is not enough, right? Or it's gonna end being a mess in your hand.
Yeah. That's very important thing to add it.
Okay, thank you guys. And where we should really start and how to create our first custom field.
All right. You wanted to share a screen, and let's do it live a little bit on the different projects. As
Yeah,
we-
I think yeah. Let's try
Right.
to do that. Oh yeah, Andreas. Sorry.
Yeah, just wanted to jump in really quickly to say that if anybody in the audience has any questions, we obviously have the chat where you can do that, but we also have the Q&A section here, and I will just click on start now, and that means you can also use that to submit your questions if you have any, and then we can look at them either immediately or maybe a little bit afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. I suppose you can see my screen now. And I would say I'm going to go one step before creating a custom fields, is that the fact that in Jira, you have like two big categories about projects, and it's mainly on who is managing them. As you can see, you have the company managed and the team managed, and these type of projects have a big different on what relates to autonomy for the teams to go and create their stuff. Company managed are more restrictive, and the process to create custom fields is different from the team managed. I'm going to go and show the easy way, which would be with the team managed that I have open over here. Visually might look the same, but when you go to the configuration end, all these options are certainly gonna change if you go to a different one. To make it easy, I'm gonna go and explain. So from the project settings, I just go to the old issue types that now would be work types. This hasn't been updated apparently based on the latest changes from Atlassian. Within here, I have all my type of tasks that I can create within the project. And as we can see, as I go and click on each of them, I already see some of the fields already. These ones are a summary. And right here on my right, I have the possibility to create a new custom field, right, specific for this particular request type. So it's very simple. I don't need to know a lot about how do the workflows, issue types, fields, and all the screens configurations work in the backend in Jira. I just can go and create a drop-down menu and pick the name. So you like this? I'm gonna go with the yes. And that's it. And I can make this field required or not right from this option. So it doesn't take me long for me to go and create a new custom field. I can put it here, move it wherever I want. That's quite simple. That's if I want to create them, and optionally, I would be able to see if there are other fields already in place. For example, this one that is suggesting me, I'm gonna guess that there's an urgency. So I go search for an existing field, I pick it, and I add it to the different issue types. And that's pretty much it. If I go and create a new document, I'm going to see the fields that I just added over here. Yes, I'm going to say yes. So pretty straightforward. No big issues here, no surprises, if you want. I would say that creating the custom fields for the other type of projects that I understand Rustem will be sharing a little bit, it has far more steps than what we're showing over here.
Exactly. Thank you, Hernan. And before we actually proceed, a very important point, what Hernan actually showed is that you can seek for existing fields and add them to your project. So you don't need to create a new field every time you feel that a new field is needed. So reuse it, reuse what you have already. We will speak a bit about that a little bit later, about the best practices on how to create the custom fields. But yeah, the one thing Hernan has already showed, very good. Reuse what you already have in your Jira instance. Don't duplicate. Right. Thank you, Hernan. I will just share my screen back, and we'll show you how to create. By the way, I hope you can see my screen. You see it?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, cool. So for me, the interface of the very same Jira instance has already changed, and now what you see is new interface of how Jira will look like very soon for everyone. So this update is being slowly rolled out across all the cloud instances. And I think the ETA for all the users to have that new interface is somewhere in the middle of June, if I'm not mistaken, or by end of June. So that's how it will look like. And here, accessing the project settings will be a little bit different. You will need to click here and then go to project settings. The rest of the things will look exactly as Hernan showed you for team managed projects. However, to create a custom field for a company managed projects, you need to choose a little bit different approach. You need to go to settings here, click issues, and here you will have a special menu named custom fields. And it actually shows you all the custom fields created for your projects across your organization, the ones which are active, the ones which are trashed. And right here, you may create a new custom field. You need to click Create Custom Field. And here you will be able to see all the list of custom fields types. So there are standard fields, typically checkbox, date picker, labels, number field, select field, whatever. And there are advanced. Advanced are mostly to integrate your Jira instance with the other products. For instance, this one is to integrate the Jira assets for Jira Service Management with your issue type. This thing is only available for Jira Product Discovery, etc. So if you have some additional products and you cannot find the specific custom field type, you probably need to click Advanced and seek for that field here. So to create the custom fields here is basically a little bit more complex. So let's go with some user picker, for instance. You remember that use case I actually explained at the very beginning. There could be some cases when you need to add additional person into the ticket for some reason, for some visibility, for the process requirements or whatever. So let's just add that field here, name it informed. And the next important thing is wherever you create your custom fields, always make some short yet very descriptive description. So for instance, this field not explains, but let's name it like that, is dedicated to show the informed person of RASI matrix, something like that. So now we can click create. The custom field will be created. And here is where the neat part goes. You need now to associate that new field to the screens. So to define at what Jira screens this issue will actually, this custom field will actually pop up. Yeah, so you may by default just apply it for whatever screens you have to default screen in any tab. I would, however, not recommend doing that. So let's just add it to some specific fields in a specific project. So let's say in design project, we do have here two tabs, two field tabs. So you can click add it here, click update. And now that custom field is added to our design project. So we need to go to project now. I will open the Jira in new window. And let's select the design project. Here it is. If we will click now to any issue, we won't see that field immediately appearing in most of the cases. With updated interface, it should have, oh yeah, here it appeared now. You see, no. But in some cases, it may not appear automatically. And then you will need again to go to the project settings, to go to issues, fields, check if this field is actually available here, yeah, in your screens, and then to go to screens, check if the field is available here, and if necessary, again, add it to your project. But yeah, it's rarely a case when you need to do such checkups. In most cases, the field just appears where you need it. So, and now I could add whoever to that field. Right. Yeah, I think I showed it all. Hernan, anything to add here?
No, to keep it simple, no, because there's plenty more on the topic. But yeah, I mean, the intention was anyway to represent the different ways to create them, and I think that it kind of aligns to the question I'm seeing from Ankur about the access. So my presentation about creating fields for a team managed project, as the name suggests, the team managed project allows users with very limited permissions at the Jira level to be able to go and add these fields. In the case of what Rustem did, you need to have admin permissions across the whole instance to actually go and do that.
Yeah, that's correct. So basically, to create a custom field for a project, you need to have project admin permissions. Yeah, and to create custom field for a company-based project, you need to have Jira admin permissions.
Yeah. So I get this aspect when you say that okay, project specific, it will be project admin, right? That particular domain. What happens in like big organizations, all this levels of permissions, right? It's kind of nested and restricted, correct? So for one, so if supposedly I want to create a custom field, right? I create, but what happens? It is not specific just to that limited amount of project. It gets specific to that entire org, right? So how would you control that? Is what I'm trying to understand.
Oh well,
good question. Okay.
Hernan, would you like to start?
Because what the reason I'm asking this is because I come from a company where Jira at a very high, I mean, I would probably be having a limited admin access just within the project, right? But above the project comes the org. Sorry, above the project comes the department, and from on top of that comes the org, so on and so forth, right? That would be multiple layers, right, of that organizational hierarchy, right? So it's not that I can do that limited change only for my project. If I want to do it, I have to go through these or a hierarchy entirely in order to get it done, right? So if that is control based, how can we manage? That is what I'm trying to ask.
Right. Can you start, Rustin? I'm gonna double check something on my end if that actually happened.
So, well, the thing is, yeah, unfortunately, Ankur, Jira provides only these two type of permissions, the project admin and Jira admin, who can create the things. And indeed, when you actually have your organizational hierarchy not matching one-to-one with the, let's say, Jira software permissions, it could be a chaos. And you could actually end up with many fields created for many projects. There are basically two general rules you need to follow. First one, Jira administrators, whoever have a Jira administrators permissions, should do the regular health checks of the instance and check how many custom fields they have. If any of these custom fields are somehow interconnect with each other, if they're similar, if they could be reduced, removed, or whatever. And the same goes with the project admins. They should all be trained and responsible for that. So my answer would be you should have some responsibility and trainings done so that people won't create tons of the fields which no one uses except for their project. So that's the only way, I would say.
Yeah, I wanted to adapt. I wanted to double check because I had the feeling I had read that on my notes that was coming, but apparently it's not live yet. I mean, custom fields that are created within the team project live only within that project. I thought that they were rolling up the possibility that you could reuse those fields within teams, but still not the case. I just tried to do that and reuse my field. Eventually, I guess further ahead, we will discuss about this in more detail about this best practices or what is good or bad about the different type of custom fields that we are discussing about. As Rustin mentions, I mean, if we do them at the admin level, it's easier for everyone to reuse because I create them as an admin and anyone within the team can pick it and reuse it as I search on my presentation. But it implies a lot of extra work for the admin as well to do the cleanups and reviews. Right?
Okay, noted. So what I'm assuming here is then that your project admin is that the project admin permissions or access that you have is the universal and something like Jira admin is the universal admin privilege that you have, and the project admin is probably a subset, a smaller subset within that, right? Which is limited only to the project.
Yeah, it's per project permission.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I think with this question, we smoothly into the next topic, and it's about the common mistakes and best practices. And here, we would like to introduce some recommendations. And guys, do you have any specific best practices? How we should proceed? Any recommendations?
Sure, plenty, I guess. But I like the first one that, in a way, Rasen mentioned the fact about training. To receive training, it's important to make sure that whoever has the permissions to do them properly know these criteria on how to do them, because I have seen a lot of customers in which they allow 70 admins just so they can manage and do their custom fields, and ends up being a mess. So hopefully a good training minimizes that point. There are plenty more. I'm gonna let you throw one, Rusty, man.
Yeah. So training is important, and well, the thing is, you all know that all the Atlassian trainings are now available for free. So you basically need to make sure that whoever receives a project admin permissions or Jira admin permissions have got at least basic trainings on how to manage the custom fields. Yeah, that's correct, Ankur. We have too much customization of Jira fields, dissolve the purpose of certain set-in process. That's correct. And yeah, that's why you shouldn't really perceive a goal to have a custom field for everything. Consider some things to be replaced by automation. Consider some things to be improved with your organizational processes, workflows, etc. So not everything should be a custom field. And here it's only, the like common sense will help you to understand like if having 10 custom fields for, I don't know, to define the location of your business entities is good or not good to have. It all depends on the organization. If probably you have 10,000 users, it's okay, yeah, if you have 10 fields to identify various locations for your company. Well, yeah, answering the question, an automation rule can be set up using this custom fields. I will show you one example a little bit later of how the custom fields interact with the automation. But the thing is, custom fields could also be triggered by automation, and that's important. Automation could be triggered by custom fields. For instance, if you're breaching an SLA in your service management ticket, you could add the custom field, which will record the exact time when the SLA was breached. Or vice versa, you could actually trigger some automation by custom field. For instance, if the service desk agent marks some ticket as critical using some custom field, it could trigger an automation to run, I don't know, an escalation process to create yet another ticket to escalation team or something like that. But yeah, getting back to the best practices. So yeah, don't overdo, don't duplicate too much. Make sure that all your custom fields have as much general titles as they could. Yeah, so not like location for project blah blah blah, or informed users for project something. No, inform, location, something like that, so that everyone could reuse your custom fields in future in their projects. That's important. And well, the next thing would be always do have some procedure to review your custom fields time to time. I will show you one thing right now again with my screen. Yeah. One of the ways, I mean, to do the regular maintenance of your Jira instance, whether it's cloud or DC, could be having some kind of admin boards with multiple information. So, for instance, what I'm showing you now, well, it is created with our product, yeah, with our report builder product. So an admin where it could look status of the project, statuses of the Jira instances, issue content limits. But what I'm going to show is this thing. Yeah, so some custom fields overview. You can do that like manually accessing the admin panel of the Jira, or set up these kind of reports so that you will actually see that I have 9 fields without descriptions. Someone created them. Probably I should have a look. Yeah, or there are 2 fields with the same name. What are these fields? Why actually they are there? And probably I need to contact with the people who created them. Or for instance, there are 8 fields which were used more than 1 month ago. Probably we could trash these fields. Yeah, like wait a second here. Yeah, so it opens the report, and now we see that 2 fields with the same name. We need to open them and to have a look. What are these fields? Who created them? What we can do about these fields? So and maintenance of your Jira instance is very important. It's very good if you will able to do that, I don't know, regularly, once a month, or once in quarter, depending on your organization side and the, let's say, the frequency with which people create custom fields, so that you will not end up having hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, custom fields created. And yeah, I will just stop my screen sharing again. Because Atlassian recommendations in general about custom fields in terms of capacity is that you shouldn't have more than 1,000 custom fields on your Jira instance, because it will cause like super significant performance degradation. So yeah, but I have never seen anyone having 1,000 fields, but I have seen people having 300, 400 custom fields, and their Jira instances, even cloud ones, were, let's say, not super fast, unfortunately. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. I'm gonna add another recommendation about the names as well, or actually the type of fields. I mean, two things. As Rastem was saying, a common error that I have seen is with the using the status as part of the name of the custom field as well. Specifically, for example, a common one is the pending reason, or waiting for action reason. In some cases, the pending would be actually the status, and you just need to know the reason. You already have within the status that information. So I always, ideally, like the custom field has one word. And usually, if you can, actually, following the idea, try to make it call, instead of saying reason, it should say reasons. So it's already open for more than one, meaning that you can actually try to see and promote multi-select over single select. Because at some point in the future, if you have more than one valid option, that custom field won't be useful, and you'll need to create another one with a very similar name that does pretty much the same. In this big environment that we used to work, we always try to do that, and we used workflow validators in some cases when it was mandatory that only one option was available, right? So in some cases, you can even find workarounds to give things multi-select, and it's still making sure that when it's needed, you only pick one. That's something that can save you a couple of custom fields in the end.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you, guys. And are there any examples how not to create the custom fields? I mean, maybe some real cases where people now had a lot of pain.
Well, I have seen a couple of bad examples over the year. Like, I mean, this, well, certainly the contrary of the best recommendations, or in some cases to make the differences just by adding a dot to the end, so it's not a duplicate. So I have a reason and reason dot. So hey, it's not the same. I know I still can know which one is mine and which one's yours. That's cheating. Very simple. That's one of the things, and it kind of aligns to the best practices. Because I missed one. I would suggest, if possible, avoid or minimize the use of the text fields types, because in the end, those you cannot build reports on those, or you are gonna need to do a lot of magic to build a report based on free text. So as many fields that you can make them select list, multi-select, those will be for better use in the future. And I would say, if you need to make them text field, at least make them paragraph. So you never end short on the text, and you never need an extra field to do the same because it was a tiny description. I don't know, Rustin, if you want to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that point about the text fields. So I have seen it many times. People create text fields, for instance, to record the numbers like budgets, costs, or something. Because when they start doing that, for instance, they create a field named budget. And then people start writing the things like, I don't know, 100 euros, 100 in 6 months, or something like that. And you cannot really build a reporting on that after that. So management cannot see the things because the numbers are stored together with whatever symbols it could be. So always from the very beginning, try to keep the type of custom field adequate with its goal. Yeah, so if it's budget, it clearly should be a number. It shouldn't be text. And if someone insists you to do otherwise, just try to reason them. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, and about the cases of bad things, I think that also one thing comes to my mind is for people who are working not in IT but in the other industries and starting to use Jira as their project management tool or as their tool to accept user requests or something. It's often a case for them that they tend to copy their processes or existing forms one-to-one to Jira. So I have prepared something for today, actually. It's very simple. I just created it right now in Excel. So one of the things, what I'm showing you now is a very simple thing used by one of, let's say, our customers. Yeah, a form of purchase order, number of purchase order, date, and then up to 10 items. So every purchase order have up to 10 items. So what this customer did is that they created Jira Service Management forms with 10 inputs, and per every input they created a custom field. So there was a custom field for item 1, custom for cost per unit for item 1, custom field per units for cost per unit for item 1. So you may, so it was like 100 something custom fields created only for that purchase order form. So don't do that. If you see that you're actually going to end up with something like that, it means that you need to restructurize your process. You need to figure out how to avoid that. Maybe to create sub-tasks instead of the one task with the hundreds of tickets or something. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. If you see that existing business process being copied one-to-one using custom fields causes a mess, it's time to rethink what you're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was thinking another bad practice, another common error is not explode in the custom field context. Like not, once again, training makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone knows that you can actually reuse the same custom field in different projects, but have different options on them. So in some cases, I have seen people create similar custom fields just because they needed to have different options instead of changing the options within the project using the context. So that's a common mistake I have seen as well.
We actually have a question that might be relevant to this. Tasia is asking, can we create a custom field and make it required in one field configuration but optional in another?
Yeah, totally. So all you need to do basically is to do the field configurations, to configure the various field configurations for the same field but for various projects. So it's totally doable from the same admin panel where you create the projects. There is also a setting to create custom field configurations. So totally doable. And that's the power of the custom field. So you don't need to create 10 of them. You can create one and customize it for various projects.
Very cool.
Even better.
That's something I did. That's something I didn't know, so I already learned something today. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, even better, you could actually could have a third scenario that is not mandatory at the creation, but you could have since you can have different processes, you can ask for that field to be mandatory by the time you close the ticket, for example, by putting that field mandatory on the workflow level. So once again, you have flexibility, and that could even happen within the same project.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
We actually
Thank
have
you.
one more question that is still open. I'm sorry, open questions make me anxious. Maybe we can address that really quickly. And it says, can custom fields be even used in dashboard widgets / rich filters / portfolio planning?
Yes, and that's as was one of the things I mentioned is one of the triggers. Like eventually, I want to make reports or have a dashboard about this field, about this type of data, and that's when you make use of these custom fields, especially if they are not text fields that you won't be able to use them or will be tricky. You'll need some apps or some magic from on the backend to do to actually do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
thanks.
yeah, just to add to that, yeah, Rich Filters, it's a third-party application. Yeah, it's not Jira, it's not Jira native. It's not from Atlassian, but almost all of the applications from Marketplace work with custom fields, because after all, most of the custom fields are just let's say native to Jira itself. So most of the applications can work with that.
And thank you guys. Thank you for your questions, because they're really appreciated. And I think with this question we could smoothly go to our next topic. It's about the limitations of the custom fields and some third-party apps, how we can unlock more features and when it's important.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna start with one of the limitations because somewhat we mentioned it that is the fact that who can actually edit them, and in some cases that's a real problem for companies because like at the project level is not enough permission, but I cannot give you grant you access to absolutely everything, so you can add a single option on a custom field unit. That's a limitation, not at the custom field level, but at the permission level. And there are actually apps in the marketplace that help you work around that. So they allow you to give you certain privileges at some sort of extra role. So you can actually go and modify custom fields that apply at the system level, but without system level permission. No, Rustin, you want to go with another limitation? Or?
Well, yeah, I would add one more thing. I mean, I think everyone knows that Jira has a system field of a type, let's say, duration. Yeah, it's like when you report time spent, original estimates, and all that kind of stuff. So these are very specific types which allow you to enter a data in a various formats. So you may type it like 1M, 1 minute, 1D, 1 day, yeah, and then this field shows you the data back in a pretty format. So for instance, if you have logged, I don't know, 8 hours, yeah, it will show you the data in a pretty format showing 1D, 1 day. The thing is, you cannot create custom field of that type. So the only custom field you could create is a type of a number. And
sorry, Rustem,
yeah.
I don't hear you anymore. Is
Oh?
it just me?
No, I can still hear him.
Yeah.
I can
Okay,
hear.
interesting.
Okay.
Sorry then.
Do you hear me now? No?
Yes.
You don't have enough permissions? to
Yeah.
listen to him.
Maybe that's it.
Right,
Please
yeah.
continue then.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That information will be secret for Andres. So yeah, the thing is, you cannot create that type of a field. So to overcome it, you either need indeed to use any third-party applications. There are plenty of them, yeah, which will introduce that field on the application level, or you need to do some workarounds with, for instance, creating an automation which will turn your input, which you will input in some pretty format, into let's say seconds, and then turn it back using the automation and one hidden custom field and one let's say real visible custom field. I have had somewhere an example of that thing because we were doing it recently, but I cannot find the project where I had it. It's so sad. Wait a second, I will try to show you one of that examples because it's one of the major limitations. I don't really like it that it is still there in Jira, but yeah, it is what it is. Oh yeah, I think I found it. At least the thing I worked on. So to overcome that limitation, you may need to work with automation rules. So yeah, it was 2 months ago when we actually worked on that. Yeah, so you will need to configure several rules. So this for instance, parses the pretty time input from the user who actually enters the data, like 1 week, 2 hours, something like that, into time in seconds to store in the number field. So that's where you start. Yeah, so you have some custom field named pretty format. Yeah, user enters the data. Then you create a variable like time string, for instance, and do the necessary calculations here. Let me show you. I think, and I need some text editor opened. The good thing about the automation is that you can work with regular expressions there. So for instance, here there is a regular expression which parses the data entered by user in a pretty format and presents it. Yeah, so this is the regular expression. You don't really need to know regex by yourself. You can use it like whatever ready-to-use regex generators or like LLMs like ChatGPT to generate the thing like that. And then you just put it there back to the rule, yeah, and rule will automatically change what user entered as something like in a pretty format to seconds, so that you could later use this thing into real calculations for your reporting or whatever. But of course, you will need to combine that with some other rules, to do the backwards calculation to show user the data in a pretty format back. So that's one of the limitations, and that's how you overcome it, either by some, let's say, simple coding and automation, or by just using the third-party applications. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Rustam. But I think this topic is really big, and it looks like we should have another call to set up everything. Yeah, to go through this. Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone would be interested in, in how can you combine custom fields with automation or whatever, I think we could have another webinar on that. I would be happy to explain and to show the things.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. We have 4 minutes left, and yeah, any other limitations while I'm sharing my screen for the last words?
Rather than going one by one, I would say that many of the limitations nowadays have a workaround in the marketplace, either or with a lot of time with automation. Looks cool what you did, but there are plenty of apps that help you overcome limitations like this that he mentions, being able to connect to a database, restrict permissions to certain users, among other stuff that a common standard custom field can't do. If you need to achieve something that Jira can't, check in the marketplace.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining this this call, this webinar, and yeah, we really appreciate it. And we'll for sure share all the materials with you afterwards, including the presentation where you can find all the key takeaways, yeah, everything. And I hope the recording will be also shared, right, Andreas?
Andreas is nodding. Yes.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Okay.
I only hear Hernan now. I don't hear Jenya. I don't hear Rustem. I don't hear anybody. But yeah, I just enabled the subtitles for me now, so I can at least read what you're saying. And it's really strange. But yes, we want to send out the recording afterwards and possibly also the slides to everyone. So yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And you can also find our contacts. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We'll be here to answer your questions. And Rustem, Hernan, any last words from you?
No, maybe nothing from me. But should anyone have any questions, we could still answer. We still have 1 minute.
Yeah, nothing particular on my end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so yeah, sorry, Jenya. If there are no more questions, I just want to again just talk a little bit about the upcoming events that we have. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we have the next one already next week. It's called About From Risk to Resilience, Safeguarding Sensitive Data in Jira and Confluence. And I will just share the link for that in the chat here if you want to sign up for that and also attend that. And then we actually have, in the week after that, we have our Atlassian Team 25 recap, which is actually hosted by Patricia over in Freiburg, and we are co-hosting that. That's going to be very interesting as well. So here's the link in the chat as well if you'd like to attend. I would like to see you there again. And I hope that I will not have any technical difficulties in those other events and be able to hear everybody. It's a little strange. But yeah, anyways, I think that was it from your side, even though I could not hear it.
Yeah, it was. I can make
So yeah, if there are no more questions, thank you very much. And I guess see you around the Atlassian community.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you. See you around
Just give
there.
me a
Thank
thumbs
you.
up so I can see. Okay. Because I
Bye-bye.
don't hear anything. I don't know what's going on.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.